Today I'll be doing a Dobinsons snorkel install on this 5th gen 4runner. These steps can be used for the pre and post facelift 4runners. Want to pull down the fender liner. There's 3 bolts and a bunch of these plastic tabs. They're a pain in the ass to pull off, so I recommend you just cut them and then buy new tabs. You'll save a lot of time doing that. Let's take off the air box. There's just some clips here and your MAF sensor. Undo the hose clamp. You take out the filter. There's probably some 12mm bolts all around the box. So let's remove this. You can actually leave the sensor plugged in and just move the air box aside. Whoever installed this air filter put it in backwards, so it's all chewed up. So I'm probably gonna get this guy a new filter. These were the bolts I'm talking about. You remove those and the rest of the box should pop out. So next we want to seal up these drain holes with some silicone, and then remove this intake scoop because the rubber coupler will slide right over there. I believe we'll have to grind down these tabs as well once this plastic piece is removed. Okay, the scoop is removed. Let's grind down all these tabs so they're flush. I just like to use one of these die grinder sander things. Once those plastic tabs are grinded, the coupler will fit on there perfectly. Clean the drain hole surfaces. And then we'll add the silicone now, and it can dry while we're installing the rest of the snorkel. Any silicone will work in this case. I'm using some leftover gasket maker from a diff re-gear, so we'll just put a dab of that on there. That's all you really need. And over here they provide a stencil. You just tape it onto the car, follow these lines with the antenna, line it up with the doors, and you line it up with the edge of the fender up here. Just peel this right off. Drill all the black holes, cut the black line, that's it. The instructions call to drill these holes out to 16mm, which is honestly a little big. I'm just gonna go up to 1/2 inch, which is 13mm, and it'll be just fine. This is the tool of choice. You can use a die grinder or a angle grinder even for this cut, but it'll never come out as clean. It will be covered by the snorkel anyways. It's up to you. I like to use the body saw. Now we want to grab our deburring tool, clean up all the holes we drilled. You can use this, but I think I'm just gonna grab sandpaper to clean it up. I'm gonna use this Duplicolor Universal Black touch-up paint to touch up all the bare metal spots so it doesn't rust. It's just a little brush, and you just apply it onto the edge. So while we wait for the touch-up paint to dry, we're gonna throw some red Loctite onto these studs, which will thread onto the back of the snorkel here. Applied the Loctite. I kind of overdid it a little, but these are nice because they give you a little Allen head here that you can use to tighten the studs. You don't want to crank them down or anything, just make sure they're snug. Not even a quarter turn. Minor issue with the Dobinsons template. I did have to bore out this hole a little bigger. But anyways, now we just temporarily install the snorkel so we can drill the holes for the A-pillar. Also, another thing I've noticed with these Dobinsons snorkels is that their fitment is a little whack. So I'm probably gonna have to get someone to push down on this while I tighten the last stud, but I can't even get that to sit flush because this support will be hitting the A-pillar. So we'll see how that goes. I've never had problems with the ARB Safari snorkel doing this when I installed it on the other two 5th gen 4runners, but I'll see what I can come up with. It's weird because everything else sits flush, so it's just this one. Here we have another 5th gen, but with the ARB Safari snorkel, and the fitment is just much better along this edge. And back to the Dobinsons snorkel. I'm pushing that right against the A-pillar. Huge gap there. And just overall not a good fit. I'm not really too impressed. Not too happy about that. But anyways, I need to continue the install. So what I've done when the snorkel was installed was trace out this bracket. It sits like this. Really bad trace, but it'll work. I gotta mark the 3 holes, drill them, and then pop rivet the bracket onto the A-pillar. Add some touch-up paint. I'm also going to put some silicone grease in those holes, just to hopefully prevent moisture from getting in. Now we grab the pop rivet tool. We'll throw the other 3 pop rivets in just to center the bracket. Top rivets are in. This bracket's not going anywhere. Silicone on the air box we sealed earlier should be dry. So I'm gonna reinstall the air box and throw the coupler on first, because that's usually quite a struggle. Put the coupler in first before anything else, because this has to go through this hole. So the coupler is through the inner fender, and I just slipped the hose clamp in there for now. So we'll put the air box back on. Air box is in. I didn't bolt it down. I also did not tighten this clamp just yet. I want to be able to move this coupler when I install the Snorkel. Okay, the coupler feels like it's in there pretty good. Let's have a look. Yep. So I just have to push it in a little further to close that gap and then clamp it. And this side is still on. So I'll bolt down the Snorkel. Probably struggle with that last stud. I just kind of hand tightened one of the studs in the middle. I'm gonna grab a second person who's gonna push down on the Snorkel here while I push out on the fender, and then hopefully we can get that nut started. Let me push down that Snorkel. Oh, maybe. Oh, go. Mm-hmm. A little more.
Okay, I can't push too hard because I won't bend that.
Ow. So all the bolts are tight, and there's still a huge gap there. I wasn't able to fit the washer in there because there was just not enough thread for the nut to grab. So now that everything's tight, I'm gonna try to loosen that nut, throw the washer on, and tighten it up. But I resorted to putting the car up on the hoist because I'm tired of kneeling down. But there's also no room up there to really move your hands to get that nut started. Okay, I'm resorting to bending the washer slightly so it kind of goes with the body lines of the fender. So hopefully that'll give me just enough clearance or just enough thread for the nut to catch. I'm gonna grind the bottom part of the nut off so the threads are a little closer, and that should work. I grinded the nut down so the threads are right on the edge of the flat surface, and that should give me just enough room to thread it onto the stud. Oh my god, did we get it? Feels like it's tightening. Okay, holy sh**, we finally got it. Okay, so the stud is tight. The gap is much smaller, but there's still a gap there. For the Dobinsons Snorkel, if you plan on installing it, that nut or that stud all the way back there just install a longer stud before you install the snorkel. But yeah, all we got to do is tighten this clamp, put new pins in for the fender liner, tighten the air box, and the snorkel's installed. These clips are square. Make sure you get the right ones. They kind of just pop in here, and then like this. Just got to put the 10 mil screws back in. Just yeah, again, make sure you get the square ones so you don't take these round clips. There's also 2 sizes. Just make sure you get the right one from Toyota. Gonna throw on the new air filter for the customer. Still Denso OEM. Still has the fuzzy thing on the back. It does not go this way. It goes this way. Wow, look at that. And it won't rip like this one. So this will go in the bin, and we'll finish up the install. Where is it? Final piece. And just tighten that clamp. And she's good to go. Alright, job's done. Just gonna wipe it down a little. It doesn't look too bad. It's really sturdy though, so that's a plus.